Now here
Sure.
we are. Well, actually, I want to talk to you about Donald Trump's master plan for Chicago in a moment. But before we segue over into that, you are actually very active above and beyond police brutality, above and beyond Rahm Emanuel. You're active addressing the issue of black on black violence right there in Chicago. And the only reason, and I bring this up because one of the straw men that is always thrown and the
Right.
ways of deflecting is saying, oh, well, what about black on black crime?
What
But
about black on black crime?
you're
Yeah.
there addressing that on top of everything else. Tell us about what you're doing in that area.
So there's a lot of different community organizers that do, address crime in our communities, but it just don't get the media coverage. So a lot of people don't know about it. But there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of people like myself who are on the ground organizing to try to bring people together in their respective communities. And I want that to be said because a lot of people don't show it. When it's a police officer, it's a bigger story. And
Right.
that's why, people would think we don't address that. So in Chicago, right now, I'm opening up a youth center. Opening up a community center that is dedicated to entrepreneurship with real estate workshops, credit development. I'm partnering with a bank to teach kids how to budget their money. You're talking about creative writing. I'm going to have a dance studio with martial arts and boxing. Also a music studio for kids with a 3.0 GPA or higher. And so it's also going to be a resource center as well for jobs. And so we're going to be a satellite location for one of our partner companies to do hiring events and teach them how to, do their resume, teach them how to interview. So it's going to be an amazing, unique community center that isn't seen probably anywhere.
Yeah, so when you hear people say why don't you focus on black crime, what do you what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because I know what comes to my mind. What do you think when people throw that at you?
A lot of things come to mind. I think they're crazy because they don't even understand what's going on in our communities and why, and
Right.
the root of the problems, and the systematic conditions that's been going on for since the beginning of time, why we're in this position that we're in. And so I think that they neglect, they don't really care about our issues. So people who say that they don't really care about what's going on, they could care less. They just want you to shut up and go back to handling your business and your community and don't say nothing about what's going on. So they don't really care about what's going on. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually led right into this next thing that I want to talk about. You said you have to address the underlying systemic issues.
Yes.
And you were speaking at a town hall that Bernie Sanders was at with Chris Hayes, and you started speaking to the fact that if you want to address violence, you have to address the economics. Unpack that for me real quick.
So what people don't understand about black on black crime, and when I said about the systemic conditions that's been going on, is why there's black on black crime. Okay, so firstly, I'll start with the analogy that if you put two lions in a cage and you starve them for a year, you probably will end up with one lion because they'll probably turn on each other and eat each other. And so in our communities, they cage us into these ghettos or these projects or into these communities, starve us of the resources and funding in our communities. The unemployment rate in these areas are very, very ridiculously high. The mental health facilities are shut down. The education is underfunded. The public school education have outdated books, 30, 40 kids a classroom, not many counselors to deal with kids with real issues. So the schools are horrible in these communities. You got kids just walking around with PTSD and they don't even know it. Because there's nobody to help them with those mental disorders because Rahm Emanuel shut down all the mental health facilities.
Yeah.
So when you want to talk about violence, you got to look at what's going on in these communities. We don't have many mentors. We don't have a lot of great parenting. But once they walk out that house, and they may not have the best parents. They look at that environment and say, I don't have the best school. The school don't care about me. Nobody's going to help me get a job. There aren't community centers to help guide me anywhere.
Right.
What am I going to do? Well, I got my friend who's going through the same problems that I'm going through. We're going to hang out and try to make some money some way because we need to eat. There's nobody here to help us eat. Right. So they join a gang because all of their friends become, they become family because they don't have any family. They don't have any hope that they can be anything bigger than where they are. They don't have any love because they may not have family that actually care to give them time or guide them, or a teacher like my teacher who opened up my youth organization with me. They don't have a person like that to grab them. So that is what's going on in these communities. The average age for gang members is 16 to 19 years old. A lot of them are 13, under that. Wow. So when you talk about 13 and 19 years old, these are kids that can be grabbed and guided and said, look, this is what you need to do. Here's a job. Here's a community center that you can occupy your time in. Here is a mentor that'll show you the love that you need. This is what we have to do in these communities. It does not start with police, because police are only there to react to problems. They sit down and they want to wait on that call to say, hey, somebody has just robbed a place. Okay, well, let me go. They're not there to prevent criminals. Yeah. Guns don't prevent. Everybody can have a gun. All right. But it's about who has the gun. How do you prevent that person from shooting somebody like Dylan Roof? Or, everybody can have a gun. It's not guns. It's not police. It's the people. And you have to start there and prevent criminals by giving them alternatives.
Man, let me do this. I got to do this because it's I want you to keep going. I want you to just because you have a way. Like, let's talk about you as an individual, man. You have a dynamic. You have a dynamic message. You have a dynamic delivery. I mean, the game recognized game. I see it in you, brother. I've seen it in you since the first clip I saw of you introducing Bernie Sanders. I said, oh, that brother's gonna do something. I want to salute you and just encourage you. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of people encouraging you, man. But from me and everyone who rolls with me, man, we're fans of yours, and I think I probably at least got 15 years, 16 years on you. But I'm a fan of you because you know what, you have a passion, you have the conviction of your passion, and that's what's lacking in some protesters or some leaders of so-called leaders of Black Lives Matter. You actually have taken it on the chin for the movement. Right. I mean, Chicago came after you like a ton of bricks, and as compared, not that we're in a sympathy Olympics or an oppression Olympics, right, but as compared to some of the leaders, that get photo ops, you got hit with a bail that was like that they give to murderers. And here you are really, fighting this fight. So where are you now in terms of that fight? You're still fighting that fight. Where is that fight at right now?
Well, I can't really talk about it, of course,
right,
because of the gag order, but
you're still fighting it.
It'll be done soon.
All right, we'll leave it there because we're not going to make it worse. We're trying to do whatever we can to make it better. I want to play this clip of you on Chris Hayes last week, or it was about 2 weeks ago now. And this is you basically saying what you just got through saying here, that it is a matter of if you're going to address if you're going to address violence, you have to address the economics. And here you are speaking with Chris Hayes during the town hall. Let's listen in.
And right now, nobody has really said it, but his name is Rahm Emanuel. And this mayor that we have in the city of Chicago does not care about Black people. And I'm going to put that on the record. When you can invest $100 million into DePaul basketball arena when they can practice at the United Center for free, and $16.4 million into Uptown to build upscale apartments, when you can build these new bus stops we got now downtown, but walk in our neighborhoods and not $1 million is coming. When we walking past boarded up schools, boarded up houses, they knock it down with red X's with no plan to redevelop. Mental health facilities shut down. The unemployment rate is the highest in Chicago than it is around the country. When you want to talk about violence, you got to talk about the economics, not police.
Man, oh man, let me tell you, when you did that right there, I think the nation heard you loudly and clearly, and now I hope now I hope now more than ever before that people are calling on you to continue to speak and share this message. I don't know how much time you have here, but this just came down in our news today about what Donald Trump wants to do in Chicago. Do you have an extra few minutes we could discuss that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Donald Trump plans to essentially federalize